Sweden says it sees no signs herd immunity is stopping the virus.
This post received a score of 4,000, with an upvote ratio of 94%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Fauci in March, paraphrase, "If we have any success at all we will be accused of doing too much."
NZ's government are accused of both at times. Most of us are just incredibly grateful that it was easy enough for us to shut down as swiftly and as certainly as we did, and that 99% of people do the right thing.
God, that sounds amazing. Congrats on the functioning leadership and a generally not brain-dead population.
Well yeah, sorry wasn't trying to brag. It's a bit of a lottery, right? Can't take too much credit.
Not quite. You guys had elections, right? At that time, you chose leadership that respects science and values the welfare of its citizens. Plenty of the countries suffering now had that same choice to make and chose differently. So kudos on actually voting in your own interest.
Have 70% of the population been infected yet?
Wait, so how is herd immunity not just mass infection?
The phrase has been deliberately distorted in the COVID era. Pre-COVID, herd immunity described the way a vaccinated population could protect the vulnerable who were unable to vaccinate. It was never about just let enough people get sick and then it'll die out on its own. Measles is still with us, as are mumps, whooping cough, and diphtheria.
Exactly, at this point it's almost like it's basically population control in certain countries.
Just a quick reminder to everyone reading about Sweden, don't be misled into thinking herd immunity was our strategy.
What was the strategy?
Our strategy was to shield the elderly and vulnerable and protecting our businesses by not locking down, thinking it would save our economy somehow, all of which failed, mind you. The idea of herd immunity was just something that popped up as cases went to an all-time low under the summer, thinking it may have had something to do with it, which it turned out not to be the case.
Greater than our strategy was to shield the elderly and vulnerable. Then Tegnell failed spectacularly, as the vast majority of Swedes that have died as a result of COVID have been the elderly by a significant margin, especially if we compare the data to neighboring Nordic countries Denmark, Finland, Norway.
Indeed, 90% of the deaths were at elderly care homes, and it was our biggest failure in this pandemic. Nothing can repay those lives lost, even if we had magically achieved herd immunity. In fact, it may seem like an overreaction, but I seriously think it was such a major screw-up I've started to doubt my country's government's ability to do their job.
It's clear no country really gave a shit about care homes, or at the least were completely devoid of solutions to shield them. But to me it isn't the fact of the deaths, although that is of course bad, it's that through neglect they condemned thousands to die completely alone.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.